Gonna start this off. Welcome to the show.
It's not turntablism. It's not turntablism. It's just what it is.
Word. Word, hello. Great to be back on my show. I think I got a pretty big one today, so buckle up. Maybe a lot of stuff won't make the edits, but I don't know. You never know what the fuck will happen. It's a pretty wild week for me mentally. I got really high, which is something I don't do very often. And I started writing a lot on paper as opposed to on a computer screen to rest my eyes. So I put together kind of like some stories today and kind of just some random shit. So we'll just get into it. So a while ago, I went on a date with this girl, and I was like, "What do you do?" And she's like, "I'm a rapper." And I was like, "Oh, like, like, how long have you been doing this? And she's like, 3 months. And I was like, "Oh, like, do you have like an album out?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, do you have like a lot of fans?" And she was like, "No." So I was like, "Well, I don't really know if you can call yourself a rapper then, because it sounds like you are aspiring to be a rapper." And then she said something along the lines of, she was like, "Well, how am I ever going to become a rapper if I don't call myself a rapper?" And I was like, even though a cynical asshole as I am, I was like, that's really like A, true, B, beautiful and poetic and lovely. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, we should probably reserve that for the arts, though. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you go to get a surgery and you go into the surgery, you meet the surgeon, and he's like, "Hi, I'm going to be doing your operation." And you're like, "Oh, great. Like, how long have you been a surgeon?" He's like, "Oh, I've never done this. I just, want to someday." Like, it's probably not a good look, so yeah, it's probably save that philosophy for the arts, but still is a beautiful philosophy. So shout out. I don't hold babies because I don't want to make the parents look bad. Like, what if I hold a baby and then the baby likes me more than the parents, or not likes me more, but like the baby's crying when the parents are holding it, and then I hold the baby and then it stops crying. And now it's awkward. Like, oh, fuck. Like, your baby loves me more than you. You fucking dumb idiot. You can't even fucking hold your own baby correctly. It also works in reverse too, because it's like, I also don't want to hold the baby, because it's like, what if, the baby's not crying, and then you hold the baby and then it starts crying, and then you look like some kind of fucking psychopathic killer. Yeah, I guess it's kind of stupid, but it's like, it's not really a huge concern, but it's just, when people ask me to think of the baby, I really think of the first one, which maybe speaks to my own arrogance, but like, I really think of the first one like, dog, what if I fucking embarrass you by holding this baby? Because really, if you hold the baby and it starts crying, it's like, that's kind of expected, because you're a new stranger, it's a new phenomenon. You can't be really held responsible if you hold a baby you've never held before and starts crying. But if it is crying and then you hold it, it's like, oh shit, wow, like, this is really embarrassing for you, the parents. Fuck. I spent part of this last week trying to articulate why I hate puns, because puns are so fucking obnoxious, and I think I'm getting close. It's not quite coherent, but it's like, puns are so fucking obnoxious because, let's see, what did I write? It's like, okay, puns are stupid because they're really simple, right? Like all a pun is you take a word and then you recognize that whole word or part of that word sounds like a different word that is related to the current topic that you're discussing, right? Like maybe somebody just got killed by a bear, and then you go, oh, it's a disgusting scene. They just got mauled. And then some fucking wise ass goes, oh, I can't bear to look at that. So it's just like, it's kind of a morbid example. But the point is, it's just a simple replacement of a word or a part of a word with another word that sounds like it. And it's really straightforward, right? Anybody with a fucking thesaurus can make a pun. But the people who make puns, like, they always go kind of like this, like, do you get it? And you're like, yes, I fucking get it. I can speak English too, you dumb piece of shit, right? Like, it's just like, if they didn't go like this, then it wouldn't be that bad, but then it also just wouldn't be a pun because they would just speak normally, right? Like, if you said a pun without changing your inflections, you would just be speaking normally, which is why I don't like them, because it's such a lazy ass joke, and then you're forcing your shitty humor onto somebody else. It's like, I don't want to experience this. And then it's usually your friends who are doing this, right? So then it's like, if you don't laugh at their stupid fucking joke, then they get upset and they're like, oh, how come you don't like my jokes? And it's just like, because they're fucking simple and dumb. Just get a better joke and then I'll laugh. That's arrogant. Whatever. I hate fucking puns. I don't care. Same thing with dad jokes, kind of. Okay. Because like dad jokes and puns, it's not really for the humor. It's for like people who like dad jokes and puns to kind of like one up each other. They're like, oh, and it's just like, oh, it's so tiresome. Anyway, oh my God. So I live in Montreal, and we're back into heavy duty isolation in COVID quarantine. But right before we jumped back into it, I took a swimming lesson because I was like not doing any exercise, and I have an injury that gets sore when I go for runs. So I was running, but then I was like, okay, like this sucks. Like my leg is always hurting. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try swimming. So I signed up for swimming lessons. And like the last time I took swimming lessons, I was like, 10 years old. I don't even remember, probably younger than that. And I'm not a very strong swimmer. I'm like a pretty medium swimmer. Medium low swimmer. Low swimmer. Anyway, I'm not very good at swimming, and I show up and I forget my mask. So I have to tie my shirt around my face to get into the facility, which is okay to get into it. And then I get into the change room and I'm changing, whatever. And then I look on the wall and it says, make sure you wear your mask in the pool, or like, out onto the pool deck. And I'm like, fuck, now I'm going to look like a big idiot because I have to tie my fucking shirt around my mask and my face, and it's going to be drooping down while I'm just wearing my swim trunks. The other thing that's going on is I don't have swim shorts, or I don't have like I bought a pair of kind of like athletic shorts that had the mesh lining, but I hate the way the mesh lining feels, so I cut it out. But then, of course, if I sit down the wrong way, my dick and balls just flops out. So it's like I had to wear my underwear under these fucking shorts. So I'm like, I'm clearly look like I'm out of the ordinary a bit, and then I have to tie my fucking t-shirt around my face, and I'm walking out there like, what's up, guys? I fucking know how to swim. Then I get into the water. Thank God the instructor was very nice, very sweet girl, and she was very nice. And I'm like totally intimidated because I don't know what the fuck is going on, and like there's like dudes in Speedos and like fucking ladies in their swimsuits, and I have like they're like getting those lane ropes for when you mark off the lanes in the pool, and they're like unspooling them. And I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I don't want to do anything wrong, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So I'm kind of like, oh, what the fuck do I do? Oh my God. And anyway, I'm just kind of nervous, and I get in the water, and then the lady goes, so I'm like, what the fuck do we do? And she's like, she said something like, you do like 400 front crawl, 400 breaststroke, 400. She names all the strokes, and she says, do 400. And she's like, one length is one, meaning from one side of the swimming pool to the other, that counts as one. And I misunderstood, and I thought it was there and back counted as one. And she's saying like, do 400. And so I start off like I'm trying to do like, swim like 50 kilometers because she said do 400, and I didn't want to be a bitch. So I'm like swimming, just dying. And then eventually she kind of like stopped me, and she's like, oh, like that you fucked up and you can't do math and that it's like this way, right? Because she says like, do you know the length? And I'm like, yeah, I know the length. And then she's like, okay, cool, go and do it. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know the length. But anyway, kind of get past that. And then she says, okay, you've done enough front stroke. Now it's time to do the butterfly. And it's like, yo, like, do you not see like what I'm wearing, like how I'm dressed, how I'm behaving? Do you think I can fucking do the butterfly? Like I don't even know where to begin. And so I try to do the butterfly, and it looks like I'm fucking having like a seizure in the water, and I'm just like, and it's clear I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. So she like kind of pulls me aside again because she's like, oh, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's like, yeah. And so I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I can't do the butterfly. And she's like, yeah, I know. And then she's like, you need to. And then she moves her body. She like, whatever, like, what's it called? Like throws it back. And she does like a perfect movement with her whole body. And it's like, ooh, like perfect. And I'm like, Jesus. Not only is that like kind of hot, whatever. It's also like, yeah, like good fucking luck. Like I can just learn how to belly dance out of nowhere. So I go back in the water, and I'm trying to do what she says, but I end up just like fucking the water. I just look like a big idiot. Anyway, I go back to her again. She's like, let's just leave the butterfly because clearly you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, cool. That's a good look. And she's like, let's just work on your front crawl. And I'm like, great plan. Great plan. So I start doing my front crawl, and she kind of watches me for a bit, and then she's like, okay. Meanwhile, of course, everyone around me is doing all their shit like perfectly, whatever. Anyway, she's like, okay, your arms are like okay, they're all right, but your kicks are like really shit. So like, let's just work on your kicks. So I'm like, okay. So then she brings out one of those like floaty boards. You know what I mean? She's like, here, take this and just kick back and forth across the pool. So here I am, like pushing 30, right? In this fucking pool, practicing my kicks like I'm a fucking 3-year-old with floaties on. And my mom is like, practice your kicks, honey. Make sure you got your kicks. And part of me is like, oh, fuck this. But a way bigger part of me is just down because I'm getting a great exercise and I'm learning how to fucking swim better, which was obviously clearly needed. So she's like, practice your kicks. So I kind of like practice my kicks a bit. And then she's like, I do it a bit. And she's like, okay, that's pretty good. Now we're going to put your, like, you're going to do your arms as well. And I tell her because, like, when it comes to coaching and learning things, something I know about myself is I have to work on one thing at a time. I can't learn multiple things at once. So I say that, and like, I try to tell her, I'm like, hey, because she's like, let's put in the arm thing. We're going to put in the arm thing in addition to the kicks. So I kind of look at her. I'm like, hey, like, I'm not that great at, like I'm not that great at multitasking. And she's like, oh, you don't have great coordination. I was like, no, it's more like multitasking. And she's like, no, I get it. You're uncoordinated. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking uncoordinated. Anyway. It was pretty fun and pretty funny. So that was my swimming lesson. here's a bunch of shit that I just thought of. So, pro tip, it's kind of disgusting and kind of a power move. If you have like tiny little flies, tiny little gnats, or even fruit flies, and they're buzzing around your face, just suck them in and eat them instead of trying to blow them away or clap them. I wrote this down. Fuck smelling weed, smell spices, because I bought like some expensive fresh spices, like star anise and like expensive cinnamon from like the market, you know, because I was making mulled wine. And I opened it up and I was like, it smells really good. And I was like, oh, wow, this kind of smells better than weed. So, you know, fuck smelling weed, smell spices. Oh, I was being hard on myself one day and I was like, oh, you fucking lazy piece of shit. Why don't you get up and do something? And then I was like, yeah, like, I bet you back in the day, like, Neanderthals didn't just sit around. They were out, like, hunting and shit. Otherwise, they were going to fucking starve. And then I thought about it, and I was like, Neanderthals probably did sit around a ton and just do fuck all. Because it's like, they're probably just waiting for animals to come by. And then I was like, yeah, fucking Neanderthals are lazy too. I don't know why. They probably were. There were probably a ton of lazy-ass Neanderthals. In fact, probably most or all of Neanderthals were lazy because they don't have this fucking crazy pressure of today's society to be like, go, 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 efficiency, make money, bitch, or you suck. So it was probably a lot more chill. I don't know, though. That's where I would go if I had a time machine. How about the classic, like, everybody's stifling sneezes in public now because they don't want everybody else to think they have COVID. I took an Uber back from an undisclosed location, and I was in the Uber, and I had to sneeze, and I held it the whole way, except at the very end, I started to fucking sneeze. And the Uber driver was cool. He didn't give a shit. He was like, whatever. I don't know. I didn't ask him, but he seemed chill. But then when I got out, I was like sneezing on the street, and there was a lady walking behind me, and I was like sneezing, and then I turned up the stairs to go to my house. And the stairs right to my house are on like the inner part of the sidewalk. And the lady, she was behind me. She wasn't even near me. I turn up the stairs. As she passes my stairs, she walks off the sidewalk into the street. And it's like, dog, come on. I don't even have COVID. Like, that's what you're going to do? I mean, I guess it's fair. You know, you're walking through the sneeze particles. But I was like, I want to be like, fuck you, man. Walk on the sidewalk. Stupid. I also got pissed off. Is like, why don't rags pick up as much liquid as paper towels? What a pain in the ass. I don't even know who I'm mad at. Just like physics and God for creating this. But it's like, dude, it's so whack. It's so fucking stupid. This is stupid. It's so whack that these paper towels pick up more liquid than rags. I don't know. I gotta get a ShamWow, I guess. I reached out to my ex recently from like ages ago, like an embarrassingly long time ago, which is always kind of, you know, always a good idea. You know what I mean? And it was just to like say what's up and say hi and shit. And then she was like, but then we were talking and she was like doing some really cool shit. She was like, yeah, I'm living in a van and I'm going to like go on trips to do like free climbing. And I was like, fuck, like that's so cool. Like what the fuck am I doing in my life? Talking on the internet to like 20 people, you know what I mean? And she was like, oh, that's so cool. And then after we had that conversation, I like had like a freak out and I was like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? I got to go travel to India and like go all around and I got to live in a van and blah. And I was just like being such a fucking insecure idiot. And then a couple funny things happen is like, one, I know this dude who lives in BC and he's like outdoorsy and shit. And so whenever I'm thinking about traveling to wild places, I always hit him up. And first of all, a lot of the times he like just hasn't gone to the places I'm going to ask him because in my mind, he's like this insane world traveler, right? Who's been everywhere. But in reality, he's been to like a couple places, right? And he like works outside. So I'm like, this guy fucking knows, you know, which is like... But kind of, there's been a couple times where I've had like a little breakdown or freak out like this. And I'll hit him up. I'll be like, hey man, just planning a trip to like, Africa, Asia, Mongolia, fucking Antarctica, blah, blah, blah. Wondering if you have any travel tips. And I like, he writes back. He's always really polite, but I could see him being like, dude, what the fuck is this guy thinking, man? So I had this like little freak out with my ex or like after this conversation with my ex. And, I hit up this guy again and I'm like, hey man, like, I'm planning a trip and, I'm just, I want to work as a fisherman in BC. And he's like, oh, do you mean like guiding sport fishing or like deckhand? And I was like, deckhand, definitely deckhand. And he's essentially like, dude, that's like a brutal fucking job. And also really the only vistas you're going to see are like dead fish and like the BC shoreline, which is beautiful, but like, that's it. And I was like, it sobered me up. And I was like, fuck, that's a really good point. And then I was like, how should I get a job? And he's like, the best way is to fly to BC and then to post a physical poster on the docks and go talk to captains. And I was like, fuck, I don't really want to do that shit. It would still be cool, don't get me wrong. And definitely part of me wants to go do all that traveling shit and just like be a bum or whatever. But then I got to thinking and I was like, man, a big part of this shit is like, comparing yourself to others, like me comparing myself to my ex and being like, oh, fuck, like, how come I'm not doing all that cool shit? Which is ridiculous. A friend of mine had this quote, not to get too sappy, but a friend of mine had this quote that I think is really good. And it's like, comparison is the death of joy. And I think that's really true. And I think that true joy comes from doing the shit that you love and seeking out your interests. So instead of freaking out, I just started writing more jokes and like some other dumb shit, and I felt a lot better. So, oh my God, yeah. So I have two wonderful, adorable nephews. They're so fucking cute and great. And everyone knows that kids are hilarious. One day, I was on a walk with my brother-in-law, and we're just walking in the park near their place, and there's an unmarked white van parked on the street, or like it's marked subtly. It's some fucking van, and we're walking back home, and the two kids are in front, and the older one sees the van. Then he turns to his younger brother and he goes, hey, do you want to get in there? And I was just like, wow, these kids are a fucking dream for pedophiles. They don't even have to be asked to get in the van. They just already want to get in it. It was really great. Hey, do you want to get in that van? Does he have candy? No, I just want to get in the van. It's just a pretty cool, unmarked white van. I turned to my brother-in-law and I was like, dude, you failed as a parent. Look at that. Test number 1, game over. Yeah. Let's see, this other shit's kind of lame. Oh, I just thought of some of my friends were talking about like if Canada was ever annexed by the US, which like of course could definitely happen, but it would just be weird because it's like we're so similar. Like I just thought of like it would be so weird to be like, fuck you, you fucking suck, you Canadian fuck, and be like, fuck you, you Yankee bitch. And it's like, I don't know. I'm sure there are people who just hate Americans for like whatever dumb reason. And same thing with Canadians. But it just was be like, I just couldn't think of it. It'd be like, oh, you stupid cold bitch. You live in the winter and you're so cold and you have maple syrup, you fuck. And I'd be like, oh, you stupid loud fat idiot. You fucking stupid loud idiot. I mean, honestly, I feel like there's more compelling case to hate the States currently than there is Canada. But like, Canada, I guess like native people have a pretty compelling case to hate Canada. But I'm talking about people from the States. So I couldn't really imagine why people from the States would like hate Canada. Anyway. Word. Oh, word. Yeah. So I don't smoke weed that often. It's kind of funny because the last show we had, I also talked about smoking weed. But I swear to God, I don't smoke weed that often. It's not really my thing. But the other night, like for somebody who doesn't smoke weed that often, I had like the most stoner night, and like kind of everything that could go wrong went wrong. Like I got high and I went for a walk, or maybe it just feels like everything that could go wrong went wrong because I was fucking stoned. But anyway, I got high. I went for a walk, and the walk was great. There's a canal near my place, and I went and was like on the water and just like sat around and tried to write some stuff, and it was okay. It was kind of cold, so it was kind of a bummer actually. But anyway, as I'm walking home, I'm like, I'm gonna go load up on snacks and shit. And I love jubes when I'm high, and I call jubes any gelatin-based candy. That's what I call any gelatin-based candy is what I call jubes. So like Swedish berries, fuzzy peaches, fucking actual jubes. Anything that's like anything smushy, right? So anyway, I was going to get jubes, and I go to my local dépanneur, which is what we call like a corner store in Quebec. And then I'm walking there, and then I'm thinking about going into the dépanneur, and I'm like, fuck, I can't go into the dépanneur because it's my local one, and I got to know the lady who runs it, like the owner. And she's like really this nice old lady, and she's like very religious. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to go in there when I'm stoned as fuck because I'm going to look like an idiot moron, like tweak artist, you know? Oh, also I should mention, like, I have a poncho. It's great. It's from Ecuador. I really love it. It's warm and cozy. I think it looks cool as shit, right? And I was wearing that poncho. I was wearing baggy corduroys that I tucked into my socks. I was wearing boots. What are they called? Bloodstones. And a hoodie and a toque and a big fuck off pair of headphones. And I was just like vibing, right? Like, and I swear to God, I can't tell if I was just paranoid, but I swear to God, like everyone was like, you know, give me the side eye, which is like pretty fair because, you know, I'm 6'3", I'm pretty tall. And I was wearing this big fucking flowy thing. Like I can imagine myself being a bit of a spectacle, which I kind of like. I know what I look like. That's why I dress up, because I like it's kind of cool and funky and weird, and I like it. But at the same time, it's like I also don't. It's a stupid thing, you know. It's like I want to be the center of attention, but I also don't. Like, don't fucking look at me. So anyway, I did that on purpose. I knew what I was getting into, but I'm high as fuck. And I'm like, I don't want to go in looking like, you know, some dumb fucking hippie who just got back from like a session of yoga in India or whatever. And I don't want to be high as fuck getting jubes. Like it was just too much to this person I knew. So I was like, I'll go to the like franchised corner store at the end of the block. It's called Couche-Tard in Quebec. Excuse my accent. And as I'm walking down my street, sirens behind me. And I'm so high, I don't even look back because I'm like, fuck, if I look back, they'll definitely know I'm guilty of like walking down the street. But I just keep my eyes forward, and it's like I can hear it come from far away. Right. And then as it gets right behind me, it doesn't blow past me like I'm kind of waiting for. It like slows to a crawl and is like moving behind me with me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But I don't want to look back because I then it's like definitely guilty. So anyway, I just keep walking. Eventually it stops, and I walk to the corner store. But now I'm like fucking freaking out because I just had to deal with these sirens and all this shit. I go into the corner store again. I was on the sidewalk. It was like dark. No one could see me. I stepped in the corner store. It's like fluorescent lights. And you can see my fucking cape that I'm wearing and my goofy ass outfit that is also like fucking sick. But it's like, you know. So I get in. I immediately like stay as far away from the cash as I can because I'm just like, don't fucking look at me. And then I make a beeline for the Jube section. As I kind of find it with my eyes, what do I fucking see but two small children in an innocent scene, like picking out Jubes, right? To enjoy themselves. Just sober because they like candy and they're fucking kids. And I'm like, great. Now I have to go break up this innocence with my fucking crazy high presence. And it's just like, dog, like, bro, I just want to get fucking Jubes and get out of here. You know what I mean? I still have my headphones on, just like vibing to Tribe Called Quest. It was great. It's the only thing keeping me sane, man. And I go, and the two kids are there, and they're taking their sweet ass time picking their Jubes because, you know, they probably have like an allowance, or they probably have like, you know, 10, 20 bucks between them. And this is like their fucking purchase of the week. Like, dog, we got to make sure we pick our Jubes right because, you know, how often do like fucking 8-year-olds have money? Not that often, right? So they're fucking taking their time. It looks like they are picking wine out at the LCBO. They're like, oh, this one is quite good. And I think there's one kid who has money and one kid who doesn't. And the kid who doesn't have money is like, he's just kind of like agreeing with whatever that kid said because he's just stoked to get some Jubes. You know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck. So I kind of just like hang back awkwardly, just like hoping they'll finish their shit up quickly and get out of there. And they don't. They're taking their sweet ass time. Finally, they kind of notice me and they move like a little bit out of the way, but not enough for me to get in there and get my shit. And also it's COVID, so I'm not just trying to like bust in and be like, what's up? But they're not moving, so I'm like, fuck. So I just like, I do like one of these. I kind of like, I just like reach in. I kind of like get whatever is closest and just, I don't even look. And then I leave. I do like one of these like, or like one of these like, and then just turn around and go. And I'm just picking them off. And then I just fucking leave. And I'm kind of giving the kids a side eye like, yeah, like now look what you made me do. Like now I can't even look at the Jubes I'm picking. I have to just pick random Jubes because you fucking idiots won't get out of the way. But at the same time, like I don't really want to give them the side eye because they're fucking children just having a good time. And I'm some fucking crazy stoned idiot just trying to get Jubes. Anyway, I get my fucking Jubes. And also, when I smoke weed, I didn't mention this, but I like to drink because it takes the edge off, right? So you kind of get the crazy creativity and all this crazy fucked up mind shit, but you're not tweaking out so hard. And so I had been drinking, but it like just goes to show, you know, how fucking high I was. I was still just bugging. So I get all my stupid candy. And then I go to the fucking cashier and I don't take my headphones off at the cashier, which is not like me because I like to be polite, but I'm so high and I'm just hoping like she'll just get my vibe. Like she'll see what I'm going through and like what is going on in my head and my outfit. And she'll just be like, clearly this guy doesn't want to fucking speak. So let me just, you know, do this in silence. She doesn't do that. She rings up my fucking candy, right? I dump like 4 bags of candy on the thing, and then she rings it up. I don't take my headphones off. I see her mouth moving, and I'm like, fuck, like, what does she want? And so I take off my headphones, and what does she break the silence for? She's like, your total is. And like, I get it that saying your total is part of the cashier job, but like, dog, I don't need to fucking know my total. It's like 4 bags of candy. I'm stoned as fuck. Just ring it through, dog. Like, I got enough money for this shit. You don't need to double check with me. Just fucking go. Oh, God. And so I take it off, and I'm like so high. I'm bugging out. And I give like the most pitiful, like, what is that? You know, like, I don't even make sense. I'm like something like that. And she's like, this is in French too. And as I said, my French, she's like, ton total c'est blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just like, we visa, right? And usually I have like a better accent, but at that time I'm like, yeah, visa, you know, like I say it English. And like visa, anyway. She like puts it, and I just like I'm just waiting. Usually too, when you kind of like when I'm waiting for the cost to pop up on the machine, I'm a little more chill, and I'm like, oh, like, you know, I just like manage it better. I don't look so awkward. That time when I was waiting for the number to pop up on the machine, I had just had my card like next to it, and I was just like staring at the machine, just like, when the fuck is it gonna come? And as soon as the number popped up, I just smashed the fucking end of it, right? I put it on the tap, and then it fucking goes, and I like after I get my payment through, I like collapse on the table like this on the cashier, and I like pull all my candy into my arms and like almost fucking run out of the store. And then I'm fucking like I just try to fucking absorb it in, you know, like and then after I'm outside and I have it kind of all in my arms just because I'm freaking out. I had to get the fuck out of there. And I'm trying to like put it in all my pockets. But of course it's like too big to like have in all my pockets. So I'm like trying to like put it under my poncho, but then my backpack straps are like keeping my poncho down, and it's just like so fucked, right? It's just so fucked. I'm on the street and I exit onto the street, and there's the fucking sirens are still there, and there's like 8 fire trucks like right in front of my house, and I'm like, fuck, and I'm just like fucking trying to, you know, and I take off my bag and I try to put all my fucking candy in there. And anyway, I get my candy in my bag. I'm walking back, and it's just fucked. There's still all these fire trucks. They're right outside my house, and I'm just tweaking out. And I finally fucking get home, and I just like collapse on my couch, and I look at my fucking candy, and it's like the nastiest candy. It's like Jolly Rancher gummies, and there's like liquid inside the gummy, and it's just like, bro, that's too much. Like, whenever you get jubes, it's already like pure sugar. I don't need liquid sugar inside my jube. Like, Jesus Christ. No wonder fucking everyone's fat as shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff that corporations are pushing on us. Like, you want some sugar? How about some fucking double injection sugar in your fucking jube? It's crazy. And then they do the candy crossover. So I had like Jolly Rancher jubes, where it's like, dog. Anyway, it was just a lot. And then they were all pretty gross. The candy wasn't that good. Oh, but I got nibs. Which were fucking sick. So those were great. I dummied those. The other 2 bags of jubes I got were nasty. Or 2 bags of jubes I got were kind of nasty. One I actually haven't even opened yet because it was just like, fuck, too much sugar. But I did manage to get some O. Henry. Like that bag you see at movie theaters where it's like O. Henry bars, but they're just like circles. And they come in like a bag, and you just eat like a circle. So that was pretty good. And then I got high. I was still high as fuck, and I was like, yo, I want some pizza. And I don't really know like a good pizza place in Montreal yet. I haven't like explored it enough. So I was on fucking Skip the Dishes, which is like a whole other fucking thing. Because you go on Skip the Dishes, and you go somewhere, you go to a restaurant where you think you know the menu, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a cinch. There's going to be like fucking 3 things. I know what I want. The menu is like 80 meters long, and you have to scroll through, and there's all these fucking sections that you didn't even know about, you know? Like, you go to McDonald's, and you have to have a fucking like PhD to get through that menu and navigate it all. And I mean, either that or I'm just really dumb. But I'm looking at pizza places, and I'm trying to find that sweet spot of pizza place where it's like, the pizza place is like it's like the right amount of shitty. Because when you have like a shitty pizza place, like sometimes if you hit the sweet spot, their pizza is fucking so good, and it's like, mwah, it's just so perfect. And it's like, I was looking for that pizza that's like a fuck ton of cheese, right? And like, but still the toppings are like pretty good quality. And it's like saucy and good, like kind of the really rich pizza, not like the thin. I was in like a fat pizza mood. So I was like trying to find the sweet spot of pizza places based on their logos and like based on their menu and shit. Long story short, I did not. I went too shitty. And then the other part of this story is that I was high as fuck, and I was like, dog, I want some Hawaiian. But not only do I want Hawaiian, I want onions and olives on my Hawaiian. And the Hawaiian in my mind was like, okay, so it's like, check it out. So there's chunks of ham, right? Like little squares about that big. Regular chunks of pineapple like you always have. And it was like kind of a thick pizza, right? And the cheese on top is like a little bit crusty, just a little bit, because it's been like browned and cooked. And then there's like really good quality onions, right? The sauce is good. It's not too much, but it's like just good. And then you have like nice onions and really nice olives, like expensive olives and onions. And the olives and onions are like a little bit baked because they were in the oven, right? And maybe there's like a bit of like that chipotle flake or like some olive oil on it, maybe some Parmesan too. And in my head, it was like some gourmet shit, which obviously, you know, didn't mesh with my strategy of finding a sweet spot shitty pizza place, because like the good pizza you get from the sweet spot shitty pizza place and the pizza in my mind were different. So my strategy was fucked from the outset. But anyway, I had this in my mind. Of course it shows up. It's nothing like what's in my mind. It's like looks pretty fucking nasty. The cheese looks kind of like plastic. The ham is not small chunks. It's like layers of ham between. It's like bread, sauce, ham, cheese. The cheese is like that thick, which is like, dog, I know I wanted a lot of cheese, but fuck. And I remember taking a bite at one point, and it was like, for some reason, there was no bread, but I thought there was bread because the cheese was so thick. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, the ham is a slab of ham. The cheese is thick as fuck. The sauce is like pretty good. Same with the crust. Then on top are the most pitiful onions and green olives that you ever seen. First of all, I was picturing black olives, right? But then on top, it's like the green olives that come from a can, and these fucking onions. Oh God, I still ate it. I mean, obviously, you know, fuck, of course. What am I gonna do? Not eat it? Are you kidding me? It's fucking pizza. That saying, you know, sex is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. It's so fucking true. It's more true for pizza than for sex, honestly. Like, it's way more true for pizza than for sex, especially for women. But anyway, that's so true. Even when pizza's bad, it's still pretty good. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And I ate it like the next couple of days too, so get fucked. But yeah, that was my night. And then after that, I watched that movie from the 90s, Small Soldiers. And I was watching it. It was like so fucked up. At one point, because like the premise of the movie is there's like these toys that get through like some backwards shit. They get arms microchips, warhead microchips installed in their brains to make them super smart and like animatronic. And the toys go rogue and they go evil and do bad shit. But like at one point they need like more reinforcements. So they're in this girl's room and the girl has a bunch of Barbies. And so they like take like an old chip and they kind of like duplicate it. And then they put the chips in the Barbies. But where do they put the chips when they're putting them in the Barbies? They put the chips in the chest, right on the tits. And I just thought it was like such a hilarious metaphor because all the dudes get the chips in their heads. And then the guys are putting the chips in the breasts of the women like, oh, this is where all the brain work of girls go, in their fucking chest. It was really funny. I think I'm going to do like start getting high and reviewing movies and videoing it. I wanted to start videoing when I was high watching that movie, but I was just too freaked out. I was like, I can't fucking video myself right now. I'm too fucking freaked out. I can't do it. Yeah. It was pretty fun. I wish I had more, but I think that's it. Let me see. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I have a bunch of jokes I wrote about Small Soldiers. So I think I'm going to do that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was just this one last thought, I guess, where it's like, I think I'm finally chilling out. Like, I'm pretty hard on myself in a lot of ways. I'm like, are you fucking dumb idiot? Like, I say that to myself all the time, which is like not great. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to push yourself and shit, but you don't want to like be calling yourself a big fucking stupid idiot all the time. Like, that's not a good look. So I'm finally kind of chilling out. And like, when I get high, sometimes I really examine like all my flaws, and it's just not a good time. But the last time, and that was kind of how my trip started from this story I just told you. I was like out cold, and I was like, oh my God, I fucking suck all this shit. I'm fucking shit and blah. And I was just going off. And then like, it was really nice because part of me that I've been like kind of cultivating over the last little while, as I was kind of saying this as I was high, part of me was like, dude, like it's not that bad. Like, could you chill the fuck out? Right? Like, it's not that bad. And then I started to kind of like, I think I was thinking about my outfit, like what I was wearing. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so vain. Like, I can't believe I care what I look like. I'm so vain. I can't believe I care. Huh. And then that other part of me was like, dude, like, you can be a little vain. Being vain is not that bad. If you care what you look like, that's not like a fucking war crime. You know what I mean? And I was like, and the other part was like, no, it's terrible. And the other guy was like, no, dude, like, it's okay. It's okay to like be a little vain. Like, you can like care what you look like and want to look nice and shit. That's all right. And so it was pretty nice to like just give myself permission to chill the fuck out of it. So I was cultivating that a lot. So yeah, that was fucking fun as shit. I had a great time today. I hope you guys had fun listening to me, because I had a great time talking shit. So I wish I had more things, but I think I'm empty. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. And yeah, have a great day. Mwah.